How's it going?
How you doing, sir?
Not too bad. Been a very busy past couple of weeks, but glad we had the time to kind of sit down and shoot this episode together.
Yeah, no, I've been waiting for this as well.
Hit him.
So, welcome to another episode with us. We wanted to take some time to talk about how we started the Chicago business community and the work that Sal and I have been doing together to record, conversations with Chicago business owners. So, where do you want to begin? Do you want to talk a
I
little
want
bit
to
about?
start from how we got together,
Yep.
like on a Sunday afternoon, super chilly, and he said, "Hey, you have this idea uh, about Chicago business community.
Yeah.
How you kind of already started, and what your goal was. That you want to start about
Sure.
how we started."
Yeah, so not too long ago, I want to say late December, early January, I was doing some thinking and, um, you know, being someone who loves entrepreneurs and has immense respect for people who have their own businesses. I was kind of thinking, why aren't there more interviews with people? You see top tier entrepreneurs on YouTube, on whoever, Chris Williamson or whoever you like, but you don't see local people who just run Pequod's Pizza or run Illuminati's Pizza,
Right.
or anything else but pizza. But we're in Chicago, so that was the whole idea. Let's start with people who are in our network and have those conversations with them. And I reached out to you and proposed the idea, and it's something that we really liked, and I think we make a really good team for carrying these conversations with people.
Yeah, definitely. I think when you first approached me, I really thought that anyone can go on a website and find out what they do as a business, what are
Hmm.
their services, what are their products, but no one really asks business owners how they became a business in the first place. What is their story? What are the struggles that they went through? Some of the things that they had to sacrifice along the way. And I think the goal is to really spotlight those businesses and highlight their stories. And storytelling is such a key component when it comes to messaging and understanding how businesses grow. And in any industry, it could be
Hmm.
food, beverage, it could be real estate, it could be healthcare. I think the stories go a long way, and a lot of people seek those stories. A lot of people who want to start their own businesses, but they're too afraid. They're too much of a perfectionist. They think everything needs to be perfect.
Hmm.
It really doesn't. Um, and us highlighting these stories, I think, really shows that nothing is perfect,
No.
especially in the beginning stages, and that it is okay to take risks and it's okay to fail multiple times over and over until you get it right.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think we've just become a society of where we're too afraid of failure, and the fear of messing up is humiliating. Um, and a lot of these business owners, they kind of put that aside and they said, "Hey, this is something we don't care. We're gonna try it."
Yeah.
And it's something I don't know if this is our generation has become very risk averse, but I definitely, having the conversations with Gloss, for example, it was amazing to see people who are young and are ready to take that risky next step. Even if it might mean failure, it's very much worth it. Um,
Yeah, even in their conversation, they mentioned how social media is
mhm,
a big thing for them. Like Danielle, big on Instagram, big on social media, marketing, everything.
mhm,
But it's far from perfect sometimes.
yeah,
Um, and you see, you know, how the business is operating on a day-to-day basis, but you don't see, the hours they put in, or some of the everyday challenges, and we kind of got to see that, uh, in person, which was
right.
great. What's been challenging for you so far, from the
So
very first
far,
episode until
yeah,
the most recent you had with Claus? What's been challenging?
yeah, a lot. I'm not a camera person, so learning how to speak on the camera is something I had to learn and get familiar with and get comfortable with. Um, I'm sure that I could do a lot better, but at the same time, it's something you learn along the way. So that's been very challenging. I would say finding people who are willing to sit down with you and see it as the worth 30, 40 minutes. A lot of people are more than happy to tell their story, especially if they know you. Um, but I think that's somewhere where we run into challenges a little bit. Um, we're having these conversations so we can listen to people's stories and their journeys. Some people are just so busy with their life where they don't have the time or they don't see it's worth it. So
Yeah.
I would say that's another challenge. Um, but again, within these challenges, there's opportunity. So I think when someone says no and the next person says yeah, it makes us that much more excited to have that next conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
What do you
think
think?
one challenge for me is definitely learn how to operate a camera again.
Yeah.
um, it's been a journey. It's been a challenge definitely, but it's come back quickly.
Hmm.
The skills, the sound quality, the editing of the videos, the captions sometimes,
Hmm.
the frequency of posting online and making sure you have an online presence so people can find you. Those have been challenges behind the scenes,
Yeah.
the very early stages. But now it's about maintaining like an online presence, making sure you have enough engagement, making sure enough people see the value that you bring. Um, it's something that you need to iterate and
Yeah.
keep doing every day, and you can't be dormant. You got to keep pushing through and finding creative ways to tell the story,
Hmm.
to reach new people, to reach new audiences has been a challenge, but it's nothing that we can't take on.
Yeah.
And I'm learning a lot too, so that's the important part.
I attended U of I from 2018 to 2023. Um, my undergrad was finance and information systems in the business school. Well, I was actually started as an economics major, and then I was taking pre-dental classes because my brother forced me. And then I transferred to the College of Business. And so I was like accounting and finance, and then accounting was just not for me. So I finished with finance and information systems. And then I really like data because I had this one professor, Mr. Anton, Anton Ivanov, um, at Business Administration 453. It was a class where I think that's the first time I ever like worked with data in a real way, where it's not like you're not looking at like mean or median, you're actually like working with a large data set to like run algorithms on, and that was cool because I've never done that before. Um, so I did a project where I predicted the next season's top goal scorers based on the current data set, and it's like the quality's not great, but it's cool to learn and go through the motions. Anyways, that class started a whole series of domino effect where I wasn't 100% certain of what I wanted to do after I graduated. So then I went into exercising grad school options, and U of I recently opened up their own business analytics um, grad program for a year. And so I thought that was a perfect step for me at the time. Um, so if I was there an extra year from 22 to 23, and I think I realized I don't want to do this for the rest of my life, to be behind a laptop and run algorithms. No
Yeah.
offense to anyone or you. Um, so that's why I started thinking about sales because I had a lot of salespeople around me as well. Um, so then I went into tech sales. So it made a 180. So I've been doing that for the
How is
last,
sales? Like, I know a lot of people who do sales,
yeah,
and I've heard a lot of stories of what it is day to day. But
yeah.
how do you like sales?
I would say it's very different from anything else I've done. Um, I've only been it for under 2 years, so you're gonna have much more complete thoughts and opinions from some other people. But Um, you know, the way it works in tech companies is you have your business development, representatives who are driving top of funnel, and then you have your account executives who close deals for you know whatever the software is. So we're generating leads, we're driving top of funnel. So that's the whole point. Um, I would say as a profession, I think it's necessary for everyone to do at least 2 years in sales, but like that's hard, and not everyone can do that. Not everyone wants to spend that time or just like derail their career. But it's so important the things you learn about life, like they're applicable in a very broad manner.
Give me a good example.
You just learn human psychology. Like you
Mm-hmm.
learn the way like what makes people tick, how you have to position your message to appeal to someone. Um, like if you really want to get something done. And I'm not a trained salesperson. Like I'm not, you know, extroverted by any means. So this was all great education for me at the very least. Um, and yeah, there's just like a lot of elements where you learn different, you learn how to control your tonality, or you know what words to use and what words not to use. So there's little nuances like that, but then the overall overarching message is just understanding motivation and how people make decisions and influencing that. So it's like a you can get Machiavellian with it if you want with something like sales. If you like focus a lot on it, I think at the very minimum, just doing a year or two alone is very useful. So that's something I'm very happy to do, and I will continue to develop and get better at until I think it's a good time to do something else. But yeah, that's sales.
So did you know you wanted to go into sales post grad school? Was that it, or did you just stumble upon sales?
Halfway during grad school, I realized like um, I think it's necessary for me to pick up this skill, especially because being someone who like wants to have their own business one day and wants to be an entrepreneur, it's a skill that's so necessary to have. Like when you have to think about your customers and selling to them. Um, so that's where it started clicking for me, and that was about 2 years ago now. But yeah, no, I'm very happy to have made that choice. I think nothing else, the formal education I received taught me like all this stuff. Which is why when I see people, I'm like, if you ever get the chance to like go on the sales side of things, take that. Worst case scenario, you do it for a year or two and you realize it's not for you and you move on. But if you ever get the chance, definitely exercise it. Tell me like a little bit about your background. How'd you get into consulting, and like what'd you study in school, and why are you where you are today?
Yeah, but my story goes back to high school, if that's okay.
Okay, yeah, go for it.
I was in an economics class, and there's this book called Freakonomics, and there's even a documentary on it.
Yeah.
Watched that, and I said, the way these people think about problems or things that are happening around the world is very cool.
Hmm.
Um, there's microeconomics and macroeconomics, and there's just different ways of looking at both, and I just really liked it. It was
Right.
very intriguing. So this was junior year of high school. Then I took AP economics, and I said, wow, this is even cooler than I thought, and ended up majoring, same school, majoring in economics at University of Illinois, and it was great. Then COVID happened, and job market was not very good.
Hmm.
A lot of people were struggling to find jobs. It was at the peak of COVID, so I think this was 2020 going to 2021,
Yeah.
and I said, I have more school left in me. I need to have more school. Like I couldn't enjoy the last year as much as I wanted to. So then I started looking at grad programs,
Hmm.
and I've always wanted to go to grad school. Didn't know when, didn't know how, but I've always wanted to eventually. So I said, might as well do it now. So went to grad school for management, same program, business school, and that's where I got exposed to what consulting is. And I think you've noticed this as well. A lot of people from business school, a good majority of them end
Hmm.
up choosing consulting.
Yeah, they do.
So I kind of fell into that category.
Hmm.
And what really intrigued me in the beginning was the relationship you get to build with your clients, with your stakeholders, how they operate, how they think, what keeps them up at night,
Hmm.
what are the problems that they're facing, and then you, from an outsider, learning more about their business, their industry, and providing a perspective that could solve those problems
Yeah.
as an advisor, as a problem solver. And in consulting, you always need to be ahead of the curve
Hmm.
and learn about things that you necessarily don't learn about in college. And that was very cool
Yeah.
in different industries, very similar to what we're doing here at CVC. We're
Yeah.
learning about.
Yeah.
So you need to learn fast, you need to pick up information fast, and you need to provide a perspective fast. And that was very intriguing. And there's also some sales elements to it,
Hmm.
winning work, um, making sure they still see you valuable. So that was very cool. Very
Yeah.
cool.
What's the one thing that you've picked up during consulting that's helped you a lot in life
Hmm. Like how I
outside of
apply it
work?
to life,
Yeah. Yeah.
consulting.
Yeah.
There's so much. Um, being problem solver. Being
Mm.
a problem solver goes a long way, or thinking about problems differently.
Yeah.
There's a reason people choose a consulting firm or choose a consultant to come in and provide their perspective, because the way that they're probably want to solve it has not worked, or they need some extra validation. So you come in, provide that insight, provide that help. I feel like I'm using lots of consulting
I
buzzwords.
mean,
Bear with me.
yeah.
But being a problem solver
Mm.
has helped me, has consulting has helped me become a better problem solver
Just in other aspects of
in other
life as well.
aspects of life. There's so many ways to think about things,
Yeah. Hmm.
and it's not always black and white.